Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back again for School of Fish Art Stream. J-Man wants a Gatling gun on the end of his tail. Oh my goodness. J-Man says the tail's where you put all the heavy artillery. Damn. Said he used to have a howitzer on the end of his tail. Good morning. Welcome back to School of Fish, an art stream every Tuesday and Thursday morning. Of course, I'm your ever-loving Uncle Fish. Glad to see you one and all. Glad everybody could join us this morning. We are in the middle of running the new Kickstarter for not only Caw 2, but Caw 2 is, getting a lot of the most attention because, Caw is awesome and action-packed, and not only is it, bloody and visceral and R-rated Saturday morning cartoons, but there's also like puzzles and draw along stuff and all kinds of cool stuff in there. And along with that are new books such as my new series Fish Tales, which is an anthology series that follows along several different stories. Uh, all mostly sci-fi, adventure, multi-dimensional, time traveling type nonsense. Because that's the type of stuff I'm into. What is up, Marquis? Man, good to see you this morning. Man, glad you could join us. And also, one of the books that is in the Kickstarter that is live right now on Kickstarter, we hit goal in 55 minutes on the Art Stream Tuesday morning. Good morning, BJ. Glad you're here, man. Glad you could come out with us this morning. We had funded 6 hours the computer. Um, the kick. If you have, check it. It is going. The second issue ID Caw, which the Patreon only variant covers like I've got here, I should already have them. Kablam has been having a bit of trouble. Their website was down. They've been having server troubles and stuff. So I think the order got hung up with their internet troubles. It's on its way here soon. I know because they always do a great job at Kablam. And as soon as it gets here, it's going to be shipped out to all the backers before the Kickstarter rewards go up. But there's a couple of different covers on Kickstarter that they can get and whatnot. And then there's Fish Tales Volume 1, which has Green Zone alpha files, which like gives you a little bit of behind the scenes stuff on one of the characters from the books. It has my new story, Alice Lost in Wonderland, which follows uh, fully grown Alice lost in this dimensional rift between worlds called Wonderland. It's got Gary Feldman, assistant district manager of the multiverse. It's got Project Sojourner. A couple of the covers. We got one with Alice and her guardian, Big Tin, the Tin Man. Lots of different public domain worlds crashing into each other in this story. We got Alice and Big Tin done by my buddy Lee Gaston. He killed it. I love his work. And then we got the sexy cover with Alice on it. And then we got T-Man and Hyperstrike, the book that did all 5 years ago. Like, it's hard to believe that 5 years ago I stepped out and did my first comic. And since then, like, I've just wrapping up work right now on the 73rd book that I've worked on. And God knows how many covers and pinups and character designs and other stuff I've done. I mean, the number of pages I've done now is like well over 1,000. But yeah, this book started it all. I originally did it black and white because I love black and white, and it was cheaper, and it was my first book. I've gone back and relettered everything with some of the stuff I've learned since then. I'm recoloring it in full color. It's coming out looking amazing. Have the in process color variant cover, and then we got the cover B, the monsters from the end of the book, and T-Man in trouble, and oh no, what's going to happen? And not only am I going back and color relettering it, but I'm also adding pages and stuff that weren't there before. Getting to really fulfill that ending of the book the way I wanted it to be in the beginning. But it was my first time, and I was worried about costs and page count, this, that, and the other. So now, like, and besides, I've got other stuff to help fill up extra pages within the book. Now I've got so many kind letters from the world after reading the first issue. I've got fan art from kids around the world, all kinds of awesome stuff. So adding another issue isn't as big a deal as it was right now. One, three, every put out a variant or something on there. So every is have a day today. I'm turning it off for just a second. I have been myself. I've been blessed. I've been excited with how well the Kickstarter's been going. I hope Marquis and PJ and y'all are doing good out there today. Oh, let's see. Okay, turn this on over here. We need to put some music on because otherwise you can't get weird if there ain't no music on to get weird. You know how. Y'all. Oh, or at the end of their storage. I just did buy just before the show. I just placed an order for a new hard drive so I can move a bunch of stuff off of these computers and have it backed up where I can get to it, but let them run smoother. Anyway, here is the cover for issue B, or the B cover for T-Man Hyperstrike Remastered. Here is the first page and I love this so much. Some of y'all that have ordered from me online may recognize this image because I had a colored version of it before that I made posters of and made postcards and stuff that I've given out. Stuff in my orders that folks have ordered from me. But it felt good back and recolor it from scratch with more experience, a better eye. I've got 5 years and 70-something books experience coloring at this point. And not that I'm the best colorist in the world by any means, but absolutely I'm better than I was 5 years ago. Let's see. Marquis says, doing great. Glad to hear you're doing well. Wow, 55 minutes. That's crazy. Yeah, that was really exciting. Of course, also, it's basically a pre-order. Other than T-Man and Hyperstrike getting colored, which is legitimately going to take me maybe 3 days if I just sit down and work on it. Everything else is done. So it's easy enough. I'm not depending on having to make $6,000 to be able to pay my artist to do the book already done the books. So it's really a prayer. So I set a rather, a lower goal, but it's still exciting, man. And what I start this, and it's better than some. We did do a couple of short comments, I did 4-page bit for a friend. I did a 15-page bit for a friend. I done already still a lot of that. I'm gonna put hopefully y'all can hear me okay. Oh, like, so both I use when I would split my panels. It would be, um, about that. Split up my panels from folder tool. I saw online. Can't wait a minute. I could. Internet, but I can't 7 video with a doctor. That's going to eat up. That's a beautiful thing. A little choice. Hopefully, a little bit. It's probably. Um, I forgot what I was. Oh, I used to use the divide frame folder tool instead of the divide frame border tool. So it split all this up into different layers, different folders. So everything's in different places and it makes it a lot harder to work with. So you're going to see me having to go back and through all these folders. It's a pain in the butt. I shouldn't have done it that way. I didn't know any better back then. I know better now, but it's kind of hard to change that now. And maximize it. What is what? Okay, that needs lines out. Delete that. and flat and select color gamut. Selecting that shouldn't pick just a generic one for that. Okay. I don't know if that's right with me. And block out. I love Master Build. You can go and all these like shit, but also if I just blank then window, give me a line on that. And I love that tool. Like right, I'm gonna get on the point of this structural detail, come down and then get right at the point of that other end of the line, and I've got a straight line on the top. And now I can do the same thing on the bottom, just overlap the shape I already made, drop down to the end of the line, and cut me a straight line in between there. And that works really well for straight shapes. It is not follow that straight line with the freehand tool, but this lets me cheat and take advantage of the way the tool works and make that work to my advantage. And I love that. I can do the same thing over here. This is the kind of that I really see when I see place for some like that. But now color black and white. Oh man, crazy. They're super hot, man. But so oh, oh no, I didn't. Oh man. Oh, straight up did. I combined her outline. Man. Well, that's what you get. Sometimes you screw up. And what do you do when you screw up, boys and girls? You got to click a bunch of times. And hope you can get back to where it was before you screwed it up. Because what I did was combine her inks. Like I got the inks of those buildings, and then I've got her inks there. I combined her ink with all the other background stuff, when I should have been combining her inks with the foreground, with the outlines from the buildings. And I did not do that. And so I paid for that, and now I got to redo it. So now I've got all those outlines Man, ah well. Sometimes you screw up. That's okay. We just move on and keep going. All right, I've got it set as my reference layer again. I'm making a new layer above it again. And we're going to start all over again. Because sometimes, boys and girls, we screw up. Sometimes we screws the pooch. And we're going to start all over again. Because that's what happens. I know everybody thinks it's just all fancy, rich, famous comic book artists getting all the girls and the fancy cars all the time, but it's not that all the time. Oh no. Sometimes it's screwing up and drawing pages all over again. Sometimes it's your computer crashes and you got to redraw an entire page from memory because you forgot to save it. Or better yet, you did save it and your computer just crashed away. It doesn't remember that you saved it. That's the one that really ticks me off. It's like, no, I did right. No, and I saved it. But the computer crashed hard and said, no, you didn't. I've kicked myself a million times for forgetting to save. But remembering to do it and still losing. Ooh, that's insult to injury right there. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, also, I might should have sent a message straight to Sarah and Katie. There she is. There's my Katie. I was wondering where she was. She's probably off frolicking in the internet with old Sarah. Not worrying about old Fishy and his show. No, we're not going to pop in and say hello to Fishy. No, we're too busy doing girly things. Like customizing My Little Ponies. Using medieval weapons to mow the garden. Planting trees and digging fjords and all the stuff they do over there in the Wonderland of Scotland. At least that's what I imagine. That's what Marquis told me you did over there. I'm not one to call Marquis a liar. Jack, I'm starting to freeze. I'm a big cold. Imagine you are. Yeah. You should have been here, Katie. He's talking all kinds of crap about you. I told him Katie ain't like that, but he wasn't having it. Wasn't having it. He said, if there's one thing I know, it's a woman in Scotland named Katie. And I'm not one to argue with his expertise on the subject. All right, so now we're back to where we were before and go restart. Which is a place to think, you know. Before you, yeah, where you headed? That's what I'm really just breaking this myself now. So I'm going to use a color for that for now, just to kind of block that out. And I'll figure it out later. But I'll get this flat for myself, everything easier. up fully. What understandable is much less they would pay for. And then I got a mind decide to pay somebody for it. But so much time and effort. The now spoiled bitch. That's what they say. That's what yeah, that's what they say about me. Yeah. I'm spoiled bitch. That's a freaking to for me now. So much easier. Stuff. Go-to guy for um behind my flat layer. Off. I'm out there. I knew hard stuff off of. Had to keep. I will quit. Continuing. I know. I had, but I can't judge from my side. I'm only the you or stop until I get my off. This is driving me nuts. And it's my own fault. I put this computer through. This poor thing has had a go of it. I do feel for her. Gosh, catch it all. All right. All right, that's what we're doing. We're just going to have to redo it. That's what I got. Is too bad. So sad. Well, I've gotten no answers to the should I stop or not, so I'm guessing that's a vote for continue. I don't know. I guess that's how I'm gonna take it for now. That's what she said. Marquis says, I guess I talk when you're not working. Marquis says he never wants me to speak again. That's what he said. Because I'm never not working. Even when you get a butt dial from Kyron singing pretty songs on the commode, I was still working. All right, good deal. I also don't hear my wife on the video chat now, so she may be done, which would help. All right. I hate having to do this. But yeah. Covered in all these places with background is when I come in little places. So let's pray. Didn't train together, but on a little bits of I need to just break down and send these off to get flatted and make my life easier. That's what I need to do. Sorry, Karen. This computer has been frustrating. Honestly, I'm probably trying to push it a little further than it's meant to go. It was designed for the drawing. It wasn't designed for Now, I made a custom color palette. You can see over here, and I added a bunch of new custom colors to it over here the other day. Like I got over here to where my browns stop, and this is just browns to jump off from. These are browns from um, the DC color chart that I started from. And then I started adding in custom colors over here, and this is like my colors for and down here I started with colors for T-Man and Hyperstrike, and it's T-Man's colors starting from his head working his way on down. And then right here we get to the yellow for Hyperstrike's hair, and then works on down to her skin color and her visor, and just works its way down through her costume. So I know I can pick there, and that is the starting off color for her hair. And then I can go down to the next one, and that is her skin tone. And then her visor. And then the shadows in her. And that method of working from the top down has made it really easy for me to keep up with and remember, like, not be searching wildly through an limitless seeming list of colors to try to find, which one was it that was the lipstick shade for Thunder Woman. Um, because I know, like, when I find the Thunder Woman colors over here, and that's her hair, that's her face, that's her lips. Some of this is going to have to be cleaned up a little bit, but Whoops. Undo. Just not the same trying to be quiet. Don't know what to do with myself. I'm a yapper by my very nature. Whoops, wrong color. You know what? I did. Yeah, I did darker on our hands. That's right. Thought that looked better. That works. And unfortunately, now I got to go to a whole nother folder and do it all over again. At least this time I only have one set of grays on it. Hmm. Let's see where we can get with this. Okay, I'm selecting the that was white. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing before, and I'm gonna block her in color. I had one guy to show chastise me because Hyperstrike wasn't feminine enough. And as a parent and uncle, it kind of bothered me. Because A, Hyperstrike's a teenager. And B, it's all kinds of different body shapes and faces and stuff out there in the world. And I wanted to try and be a little bit more representative for all the young ladies out there in the world that might be reading books and didn't want to just make a big busted floozy looking super stripper running around. I mean, she's got a figure, but she's not crazy curvaceous, and she's a wee bit of a tomboy, and she's into martial arts. I patterned her after a friend of mine, a little bit loosely. It was a very pretty girl. Wanted to be, when she wanted to dress up, and otherwise she looked like a tomboy, and she was awesome. It's funny how red that gray gets against the blue and the yellow. And there's like no saturation to it. It's so clearly pink up against the blue and the yellow. God, this was so long ago. It's funny to go back working on something that I did 5 years ago and see how differently I draw now than I did 5 years ago. And in some ways, how much I still draw exactly the same. Still have some of the same shortcuts and tropes that I use. Yeah, it's definitely got a pinkish hue to it. And I mean, technically, when I select on it, like it's in the red, but it's completely desaturated. It really shouldn't change much depending on where I put it on the color chart because it's so desaturated, but it still comes off as red. one of the keys with doing flats and doing your own flats is you never want to have to make the same selection twice. You never want to have to draw out that same selection twice. So, like by cutting that stuff in, by cutting that gray in where I need it to be, I could come back and, whoops, wrong tool, select the yellow, and now I've just got all of her hands and stuff, and I don't have to redraw that selection where I already drew the gray around there before. And now I can come grab her skin color and draw that in, and then I can come in with her. And I really only have to worry about this hairline over her face because the rest of that area is selected and masked off. So I can just draw a big circle and boom, her hair's done. I need to pick another color for their geese. I'm going to go a little bit lighter and see if I can just use the paint bucket fill tool as much as possible. It's harder for me to use the paint bucket fill tool now because now I leave a lot more gaps in my artwork because I know I'm hiring a good flatter and she's going to do a job, and I'm not going to have to worry as much about making sure I get that all filled in. My son always griped ever colored my stuff. He's like, "Man, can't you close anything?" Makes it easier to like paint bucket fills. I'm like, no, I can't. Little me is just aghast at the way she's throwing that boy around. Poor Timmy. She came out a little horse faced. All right. That's not bad. I'm still going to go back and do more to it, but at least I'm getting most of these colors blocked out for me, which will make it easier to come back in later and do more detailed work. Like this is my new flat layer for Hyperstroke, so I can make that my new reference layer, add a new layer on top of it, and come in and select color gamut on reference layer, select all of that, and that's the wall colors. And then I can decide like what actual color I might want to make that wall. And I'm trying to think. She's in the blues and the oranges. She's on both sides of it, of the color wheel across from each other. Maybe something in the greens. See how that looks. That could work. Not that bright. No. There we go a little. It's a little bluer. Let's see what I think. It's not too bad. I'm gonna play with it and see where it goes from there. So I will grab these architectural details, and if that's that, let's go a little yellower and a little lighter. See how that looks. A little lighter. It's not bad. Oops. I had it selected. I don't know why I did that. Let's go a little bluer. See what happens. A little lighter still. It's not bad. Um. Try making this side blue. I'll make this side darker, like it's kind of in the shadows, and this side's getting the light. And problem is, these two faces of the building will be getting the same light as each other, and I want to do them separately. I like this. So I'm going to deselect all of these windows on the side and all of these windows on the side so that I can get over here and do a midday sky transition. I don't want to go, I want it lighter. Let's go even lighter. There we go. All right, that's getting bright side of the sky. And select that. And since it's facing the same way as this, I'll give that the same color as that. And I had it selected. Why did I do that? Because I'm not that smart. That's why. If you must know, PJ, it's because I'm not that bright, okay? Oh, eat your food. Oh. There we go. Now those things are reflecting the sky, but they're a little bit because, you know, they're glass and mirrored and whatnot. Getting the bright shinies on them. And one side of the street is a little more shadowed than the other, which is cool. We're gonna we're gonna select those windows again and deselect everything except for this little bit down here. And we're gonna give it a little bit of an airbrush dark blue because it's not gonna be quite as bright down there at the ground. But oh man, you missed a lot of show, but apparently you missed a whole lot of audio issues too, which may still be going on. So Kyron left. Kyron said, "Screw all y'all. The hell with y'all. If the audio isn't perfect, my rich ears are too good for this." And he took off. Hurt my feelings. I cried for a little while, and then I got over it. I'll be all right. I'm a big boy. PJ says audio's been good for a bit now. Because PJ knows what a sensitive soul I am. PJ doesn't want to watch me cry no more. He said that half hour watching me back on that futon curled up in the fetal position weeping, just that wasn't good. He didn't want to see no more. So PJ says we're going to lie to protect fishes. I respect that. I respect the hell out of it. It's really not even bright enough. First time to make the scene but so much of the time, brooding, anxiousness. I don't get just a lot of bright sunshiny days. I've had nothing but shit since somebody turned me on to an AI audio fix. Uh, hello. Let's try this one and see if this works for a little bit. Maybe my fancy microphone that I tried to set up with the other stuff isn't going to work. Maybe this will work better on webcam. I don't know. All I know is I'm about tired of these issues. Tired of it. But half of it, he said, in his angsty southern drawl. Honestly, I think it's probably just too much for the computer to do it all at once with as much drain as it already has on it. Whoops. Katie says it could be something like an download in the background too. Yeah, the problem. One of the problems is as well. Uh, OneDrive is trying to sync everything up to make room on my computer right now. No, undo. I have my settings set wrong. Select color gamut 1. There we go. There we go. I'm probably going to put some special effect kind of thing or probably. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, let me grow that. Oops. Okay, start over. I missed some parts. I also screwed up when I was making my flat layer, and I had anti-aliasing set on my. Dang, I still don't have it right. Come on, fish, get you at your butt. This little just the I might be some up it a little bit. One more that, that, and then okay. So still all those little areas. I'm gonna increase a little bit. Okay, so that got them all, and now I'm gonna decrease it. And see, that's just outside. Okay, let me decrease it by 3 and see how that looks. Yeah. Maybe one more. All right, that'll work. Okay, now I'm going to go above my ink layer. I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to paint it red so it's easy for me to tell that's special effect layer. I'm going to go to screen. And get a bigger arrow. On that, and then go to selection from layer, create selection. I've created selection. I can go over here to my separated line. And create a circle and put little speed lines over her. And then I can codes and mess with them. Shrink it down. Let's see. Let's shrink lines down forward. And okay, maybe we'll lengthen them a little bit. There we go. And I set that to screen. Drop the opacity a little bit. And give it the feel of her running. Though I might need to match. Yeah, it'd be better to match the perspective 40 in the channel more. Until you know where you want. Brush down and the original one. And now I've got these, oops, off the screen. I've got these inset lines on top of the other ones. I'm going to duplicate that back just so I have a version that I haven't screwed with before I mess with this. I'm going to rasterize it, and then I'm going to to make those edges even fuzzier on it. So like you got these glowing lines with a halo on them. of her running, and her kind of and I did that. Simpler.
Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back